dysfunction in the mitochondria is at the root causes of almost every chronic illness.
What's changed in our lifetime or in our parents' lifetime is this evolution of light bulb. Think of it as like a camping trip where we're trying to recreate a trip to the beach and your camping trip, where what are the things you're doing that make you feel good when you come back from these places or why you're there. It's avoiding artificial lights. You're out in the sun all day. You're waking up with the sun and then you're going to bed with it, and all you have is fire. And then when you're on the beach, you're getting a ton of light, and then you usually crash at night and you go to bed, and then you wake up and watch the sunrise, and you're on the beach all day. You're grounded to the earth. You're in the ocean. All of these things are kind of what we try to replicate, and to us, that is what reconnecting with nature is. My name's Phil Welch. What I'm most known for is being the kicker for the University of Wisconsin back in 2008 to 2011. I was in Rose Bowls. My senior year was Russell Wilson's, played with J.J. Watt.
So I'm Liz. Most of my background is in dance.
We met in college.
I
played football and you were on the dance team.
I was on the dance team at Wisconsin.
I knew this. I would have been a better athlete if someone just told me how important it was to watch sunrise and get sun. Yeah. I wouldn't have gotten hurt, and I would have had a competitive edge over everyone. And we thought it was food at the time, but really we've come to realize there were a lot of other factors that played into.
And I was very resistant in changing any of my lifestyle.
We've gotten younger since we graduated.
Yeah.
How long ago?
I look better. I look a lot better than I did
7 years ago. Okay.
Yeah.
The opposite of looking at a screen or watching TV when you're at work under lights, the opposite of that is going outside and getting sunlight on your skin.
I have, and my friends have been affected by suicide a lot in the last year. Not even lifetime, just in the last year.
I've known way too many people.
And if this can help in any way, and I didn't get it out there, I just want to be able to make sure that, even if there is any shred of this being what can help people that have mental illness, that I need to share it, because it's not being broadly distributed right now. Our generation is going through an exponential increase in fertility problems.
Yep. I would stress not giving screens to kids. The effects of this, especially on kids, is going to be not so good. They have unmyelinated brains, and they're more sensitive to the EMF and artificial light. You're going to change the way you think. Your quality of life is going to drastically change when you start getting sunlight. Life is created from the interaction of light and water. Water changes its structure when it's exposed to infrared and then UV light. And what these changes do, they change the viscosity, they change the electric charge of water. Charge separates the molecules and creates what we call an exclusion zone. And this exclusion zone builds a battery in water. And we measure this as net negative charge. When your mitochondria are working really well, you're getting a lot of sun, you're making water in your mitochondria, and that is the real important deuterium-depleted water. That's where the magic happens.
That's why I said more on that later, mofo.
When I feel the best is when I'm eating 2, 3, 4 oysters a day with fish. Food is supposed to be light, and you're destroying that information when you process it in a lab.
Again, it goes back to that harmony of nature is the baseline, and it is doing everything perfectly in tandem, in harmony.
Food is light. The light is captured, and that information is stored, and then your mitochondria break that down back into information that it uses. And that's a real big goal of our podcast, is to use technology as a tool to help you and not hurt you. There might be a potential risk to your health living in a major city in today's world. They have these microcell towers on every light post downtown.
To the point where there's one literally outside a preschool playground.
Yeah, the preschool playground.
Not even 15 feet above 3-year-olds playing outside.
It's super creepy. There's people in the skyway, or they'll be working 4 or 5 feet from these things their entire day because they're on the second floor and the light post is directly out their window.
At the very baseline, what a microwave is doing, and it's basically just vibrating the water particles in the food that you're making to heat it up. And then you think about applying that to your body, and you're wearing a watch that has that same frequency on your wrist. Like, all you're doing is baking the water in your wrist.
5G goes up to 90 gigahertz, which is 90 billion waves hitting you per second. And your body is
90 billion waves. Yeah.
And the future, the 5G, the goal of 5G and the Internet of Things is to connect everything to the internet. And some super smart computer engineers have stated that today the amount of devices on the internet are the size of a golf ball. In 2030, it'll be the size of a sun.
Yeah.
And that's how many devices are going to be connected wirelessly using microwave radiation. Yeah, get out of the city. You change the Schumann resonance of the Earth, and the Schumann resonance is, I believe, 7.84 hertz. And that is also the alpha frequency of your brain. If you change that, you could change the entire way humans think, how we act. You could cause us to go crazy. You could cause us to be violent by just shifting our brain waves, by changing the Schumann resonance, which is an electrical tension between the ionosphere and the surface of the Earth. I used to think vitamin D and melatonin were the two safest supplements you could take, no issues whatsoever, and now those are the two I'm kind of against the most because they're so crucial for health, but they are things that are made from sunlight. You can't get them in a supplement. That melatonin is not going to be doing the same things for you as the melatonin you make if you were to wake up in the morning and then protect your melatonin to use at night by protecting your eyes and skin from artificial light. Kind of the biohacking movement that hit us the last few years with Dave Asprey and Bulletproof. I don't want to follow somebody who thinks taking 100 pills is a good idea. The only supplement I need is sunlight and sleep. I've never been so certain about something. Getting sunlight and blocking artificial light. Not that I think carbs are bad, but they need to be from your environment and growing in your environment. You want to build negative charge.
When you die, you're positive.
Life is about collecting negative charge, and the Earth is negatively charged, so you're getting free electrons when you just touch the surface of the Earth. So take advantage of things that are free, which is sun and grounding.
The sun and the earth, so true.
But now I've realized that light and circadian rhythm are really the keys to mitochondrial health, and that's where I am today. Don't let your phone be the first thing you see in the morning. Go outside and at least
But just start to...
At the very least, get 10 minutes outdoors.
And we are open to changing our opinion, and we're open to new ideas and creativity, and obviously this is the intro podcast, so there's still a lot that we have to prove in what we know and our understanding of the science behind all of this. And
is we realize we don't know what we're doing. We've changed our opinions on things so much that we're just like
we know
in
that
awe of,
we don't know a lot.
We've come to the just being in awe of the infinite complexity.
So we want to share what we have found in our rabbit hole, essentially. And like the reason this podcast is called We All Know Nothing is like because that's what we've kind of realized. Like we know very little about a very little amount of things.